Good morning, Southeast. I hope you are doing well. This last week we had a great Sunday as we worshiped the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. But in our sermon series, we're going through the Gospel of Luke, and we looked at the story of the prodigal son that's found in Luke chapter 15, if you want to read it. And in this parable, there are two sons, a younger son who asks for his inheritance early and then goes and lives recklessly, crashes and burns and comes back. And then there's the older brother who's bitter when his younger brother came back and was angry about it. And so, depending on what season of life you're in, sometimes we look at this parable and we identify with one of the two sons. Sometimes we are that younger brother and we live recklessly and we, in a rebellious fashion, we live selfishly for ourselves. And then we crash and we burn and we're looking for something to pull us out of the pit. Sometimes, though, we resonate with the older son, the one who is focused on religion, following all the rules, all those things. Here's the thing about that parable, though, is that those sons both had a posture of, I want my father's wealth, but I don't necessarily want the father. And that's what the story is really about. It's not about one or the other son. It's about two ways that we approach God. But the overarching theme of that parable then is not about the sons, but it's about the Father's love. The love of the Father welcomes sinners. And the last line of the parable, last two verses of the parable summarize this. He says, this is the father talking to the older brother who's outside, doesn't want to come in. He says, and he said to him, son, you are always with me. And so, see, he's talking about that relationship. And all that is mine is yours. If it was fitting to celebrate and be glad for this. For this your brother was dead and is alive. He was lost and he's found. And so again, the focus is the father's love onto his two sons. So I just want to encourage you. Maybe you're in a season right now where you do identify with the prodigal, the one who is off wandering and squandering his wealth. And living recklessly, and you're kind of at that point where it's just like, I just don't know. I just want to encourage you that you can always come home. There's no shame in coming home. But maybe you are identify more with the religious son, the one who is focused on following all the rules, and there has been a bitterness because of that. The rule following has kept you from the Father. I just want to encourage you, just like the father encouraged his son, to come inside. You can come inside and you can enjoy the presence of the Father. The love of the Father welcomes sinners. This week, it's Holy Week, and so we celebrate the death, the burial, and the resurrection of Christ. Of course, we do that every week. We do that every moment, but it's special because it is Easter. It's one of those days on the calendar that has been resonating since the resurrection of Christ nearly 2,000 years ago. So we do have a couple things that you should know about. One is Maundy Thursday. We have a service that kind of is dedicated towards the Last Supper and eating the meal together. So we did this last year and we're doing it again this year. That's this Thursday, the 17th at 7 p.m. Hope you can join us for that. And then, of course, our Easter worship service is on the 20th. Breakfast is at 9:30 a.m. if you want to come for breakfast. But the worship service itself starts at 10:30 a.m. So I'd love to have you join us as we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. And I just want to encourage you. Maybe you've been away for a while. Maybe you've been away because you feel like one of the brothers, one of the sons in the parable of the prodigal son. I just want to encourage you. It's a great time to come back if you've been away for a while. But this is also a great time to invite somebody. So maybe somebody that you've been praying for that's on, your list, your 10 people, your prize bookmark. Great time to invite somebody to join you on Easter Sunday. Another thing that's happening, we do have several baptisms that are going to be happening on Sunday morning. And so maybe this has been a time, maybe you've been thinking, man, I really need to get baptized. I really need to get immersed. I just want to encourage you. This would be a great Sunday to do it. And so if that's you, let me know. And of course, you can always just get baptized anytime, any day of the week. we practice same hour of the night baptism at Southeast. Southeast, I love you. I hope you have a wonderful week. And my prayer for you this week is that you would just know the reality of the resurrection, God's presence in your life in a deeper, more fuller way as we approach this special day on the calendar, a special day on the Christian calendar. Have a wonderful week. God bless.